Welcome back to Mike's Diabetes One. Well, let's take a look at blood sugars. Current blood sugar is at 4.9. I have zero active particles of insulin within me. You can see during the night I went up to 12.6, and it kept correction and basal rate just kept chugging along and doing what they were supposed to. I woke up to being a blood sugar of 3.9, and I had to have ginger ale. But all morning, food hasn't been really staying around well, and they've ended up with these kind of spikes and down. So I don't want to keep getting glucagon all the time. I had some chips just before lunch, and they kind of stayed down. I had meal supplement for lunch. Part of that came up. I don't want to describe everything I ate, and it came down. But I had done pretty much the same thing on Sunday. Now, there's one thing you don't realize is there are so many people that really need a thank you or a pat on the back for a job well done. Here, the first line of people I remember is Shelley and Paige. They were sort of my first line defense. They kept washing me down, found blankets for me, found pillows for me, and just had me ready to go. And one just kept holding my hand. I believe it was Paige, kept holding my hand. So there was thank you to that. There were nurses in here. I was told there were 4 nurses in here. The RNs were in here. The LPN that was here for the day was in here. And the funny thing was, before then, she had come in and said, "Here, you're too low, drink this." And me, being the stubborn diabetic, was said, "No, you're overacting, I'm fine." Well, I wasn't really fine. And I have to say sorry to her that she was right. But I think we really have to find a way for me to stop vomiting all the time. So we'll just go with it. There were ambulance drivers. I seem to remember that there were 3 here. It could have only been 2, but it could just be they were moving around and with me coming out of a low. But I remember seeing 3. They bundled me up. They took me. Shelley went with us up to the emergency room, and they have to say, "I'm sorry. I don't know what the ambulance drivers' names were, but, it's difficult, especially when you're not really with it." They got me there. The people in emergency who had to deal with me spiking and then go crashing again and spiking and crashing again. I almost got sent to a different hospital because I was so unconscious and not really working well. So, and the x-ray technicians who had to do a chest x-ray on me. It was Oh, and then there was the hospital staff who took care of me after I was admitted. I was in the hospital for I think 2 days, and they took care of me. Um, the first night there, I didn't really sleep. I was just up trying to sleep. I just couldn't because I didn't know what was going to happen, didn't know what was planned. To the emergency room doctor and to the doctor who was assigned to me on the floor. Both were excellent in the craft they did. One, I deemed that I needed to get back on my pump as soon as possible. And once we did, it brought my blood sugar down. And that's what I needed. The next night, I just crashed in a good, positive way. I slept, and it was awesome. And the next morning, I felt great. I've had one full day back, and I don't want to go, but I want to recognize all the people here who helped. I think there's a lady named Tracy and others who, just because I can't remember what part they played or any other information, they're still valued, and I still thank them immensely. Since changing the video format to my life as diabetic, I thought it was important that when diabetics like myself go low, we tend to keep being very stubborn. And like that nurse I told you about earlier, who came in and said, "Oh, you're hovering low, let's have a drink." And kept drinking, and then I just vomited all over the place. It's not a good thing. And then I passed out, and it's just an evil cycle. I think I'm going to ask for popsicle maybe, and try the ice cream, and maybe a little bit of the soup in there, but keeping it at slower paces. I try eating today at slower paces, but I want some of it to stay down so it will give me a buffer for my blood sugar. The dietitian is going to be back next week to see how it's going again. But today it seems to be a little rough spot in trying to get to eat all the time and keeping things down. I've had a can of ginger ale. I threw up. I usually keep ginger ale down. I had chips, which I'm able to eat and keep down, but it came back up. All these things. But we're talking about Sunday. Sunday was a big emergency, and getting me out and getting me the care over in the emergency. Even though it's just down the hall, we didn't even have to leave the complex here. It's on the same complex and connected down under the stairs. We still got it. And I gotta thank everyone who played a role. The lab people who came and did that, and the cardio people who took a look at my chest. Everyone deserves a huge thank you. And that is the reason for this video. To say, hands up, and give you a 5 clap, whatever it's called, sorry. But yeah. But thank you for everything that you and people have done. It's 10 minutes now. I want you to have a great day and thank you again. We'll talk later. Bye. My email address is Mike's Diabetes World at gmail.com. All one line. Drop me